The road to the 30th Conversations with the author is still underway, and I am still going down memory lane. I'm Tebogo Tinti, and welcome to the second episode of Time with T. Thank you so much for choosing to spend some time with me. Now, like I left off in the previous video with book number 3, which was Bantu Knots by Lebo Mazibuko, we had book number 4, Girls Prepare, Boys Show Up by Unathi Mabunda, an unknown author who felt like she had a story to tell, and then she put the work out there, self-published, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. This book this book made me go out and buy a Bible, because she had a lot of scriptures in the book, and then I had trouble I didn't have a Bible. The only option that I had was to go out and buy a Bible. So I went and did that, because I was tired of going through my phone or going through the verses on the laptop, because then there was just too much screen. So I wanted to have the Bible there and the book there and keep referring. It made my life so much easier getting through this book. So to Unathi Mabunda, thank you so much, woman of God, for making me go to buy a Bible. And then for book number 5, we had Colleen Higgs with My Mother, My Madness. This book, on the day that we had this conversation, it was the day before that I had to go bury my dad. So on this day, I had to rush to my father's so that gets into stoop. I know that process. It was a tough one, but I'm glad I was wearing a pink suit, so I felt like I was receiving a hug the entire time. I'm not saying pink is my favorite color. I'm just saying if I'm wearing something pink, then I feel cute. This book is about a woman and her mom, who was then in a care facility, and she was addicted to cigarettes, she was addicted to Coca-Cola and flip-flops, and that is all she ever wanted. That is why on the cover you see Coca-Cola, you see flip-flops, and then you see tissue papers, because this is what she constantly had to buy, like every week, every other week, especially the Coca-Cola. But then she was spending her mother's money, so her mother had money, so she could afford these things, but the whole logistical things of going up and down and organizing groceries and doing that, and then her and her mother's relationship was quite testy. You know, there was a point where she was deciding whether she wants to go visit her mom or spend her birthday so she can have a bit of joy, because she knew that if she went to see her mom on her birthday, it wouldn't be an enjoyable one. So it's a mother-daughter relationship type of story, and it's one that I related to the max. Anyway, so book number 6 was I Am a Man by Ntate Jerry Mofokeng. I had so much fun preparing for this book, because with that we got to go to Soweto, to his house that he grew up in, because he writes the address in the book of where he lives, and we got to go to the high school that he went to also. And on the day, the fun fact is that on the day that in 76, when the Soweto uprising happened, he was due to write an Afrikaans exam. Like, isn't that, well, not fun, but isn't that like I don't want to attach that to fun, but it was nice to know that fact. So yeah, as the entire team, the best team in theater production, we headed over to Soweto. We had such a good time filming this, and there was another address also that he mentions in the book that we also went to visit, where some of the Mpimpis of the time would hide out their Guntlunya thing. But then this is a memo, so he tells his story as it is, and he's very honest, he's very candid, especially his relationship with his mother and his absent father. He found out who his real father was at a very later stage in his life. This book is available at the South African State Theatre's kiosk. Actually, all the books that I've mentioned here are available at the South African State Theatre's kiosk, so you might want to go check them out if you are interested in any of these things that I'm saying. Again, if you have any questions, throw them to me there on the comment section, and I will answer anything, and then we keep the conversation going. This was it's in the top 5 of my favorite books that we've done, even though I don't like to say this was my favorite book, this is my favorite, but it's definitely in the top 5, and we've done 29 so far, so it's really that good. And my favorite thing about this one was the fact that my friend was there in the audience. She was like, you've been doing this for quite some time and you always talk about how nervous you get, so I have a bit of time in my schedule, let me show up and show you support. I'm so glad that she was there. And yeah, go out and get it. Go out and get it. Oh, and of course, for book number 7 is by, listen, Dr. Siphiwe Mahala, Kentemba, The Making and Breaking of the Intellectual Tsotsi. If there is, I remember when I first got this and I was like, yo, this is so serious. It looks so serious, but it is a serious book because it's talking about a serious man. And I remember when I got through the first chapter, I was so upset at Dr. Mahala, and I was like, he kills him off way too soon in the book. And then I said to myself, Magdama, why would you be upset? Because Vele Kentemba is late. Why would he keep him alive in the book? But then later on, as I got to other chapters, I got to understand why he wrote the story. He told his story the way that he did, because moving forward, he talks about so much. Let me see. The duo also crossed the border and interviewed many South African women who had fled the Union to Botswana. It was then called, this is when I learned before Botswana was Botswana, it was called Bechuanaland. Anyway, because they were unwilling to carry passes. This is an interesting part. Like I know the parts that I highlight are the parts that I want to constantly go back to and remember. So I obviously wanted to remember that for some reason, because Tswana descendants and all of that. And he had my number 2 favorite panel, because my number 1 favorite panel was the all-female, because who run the world? But this was my number 2 panel. Dr. Siphiwe Mahala had Dr. Nokuthula Msimang and Professor Nkondlo. I mean, does it get any better than that? I was sitting there having conversations with Professor Moshenkwana, and I was like, this is happening for me. This is my life. It was so exciting. And out of all the outfits, all the 29 outfits that I've worn for this program, the one that I wore on this day is my number 1. It's my number 1 because I felt so, so bad, so bad behind. I just felt so like I can take on everything. I felt so empowered. That's how it made me feel. And then the people that I was in conversations with made me feel extra empowered. They made me feel seen. And also Dr. Siphiwe Mahala went on to do some great things if you follow him. He also he's in love. Can I say that? He has a man crush on Kentemba and Block Mudisan. No, I'm joking. I'm just glad that he's bringing these people to us. He was able to have Blame Me on History by Block here now in South Africa, printed here now. It is available, and I know it go bookstore. I'm still making my way there till today, but listen, I need to get my hands on Blame Me on History. And to think that I was at the launch at UJ, Go Jayas, when they had it. What happened that I did not get the book there and then, I do not know. Because I was sober even, so I have no reason why I didn't get the book. All I know is I didn't get it, but I'm making my way to Book Circle to get the book, because you have to be a part of something like this. Blog Mudisane and Blame Me on History. Anyway, that's not what I'm talking about, because it wasn't part of the conversations with the author. I'm hoping that it becomes part of that's why I didn't get it. I was hoping it was going to become a part of conversations with the author. So moving on from my favorite Dr. Siphiwe Mahala, who is, he also wrote Bloke and His American Bantu, ne? And then the play was at the South African State Theatre. So I also had him on set, ne? And listen to this. So I had Dr. Sipho Mahala on Conversations with the Author as the author of Kentemba. And then I had him on set as the writer of Bloke and His American Bantu. And then I had him back again for Conversations with the Author as a panel member for book number 10. Yeah, Nick Mhlongo, For You Art Still a Goat. And he was then because these two are the bosom buddies, best buddies. This was Conversations with the Author, book number 10. And then this is Nick Mhlongo's 10th book also. So, and we had this a day after his birthday. So wait, because I always keep these two in the program. So this was on the 11th of June. So his birthday is on the 10th of June. It was quite special, and on his panel it was just him and Dr. Sipho Mahala, and it was one of the lightest, candiest, funniest conversations that we've had. I felt like I was sitting there with my brothers or my uncles actually, not brothers. Felt like I was sitting there with my uncles and I was listening to them even reminisce about the times that they've had, their friendship and how long they've been friends and how it grew, and the makings of this short story collections. And I had a third, what do you call it, when you're sitting there watching people talk about something that you are not a part of. There's a word for that, man. There's a word, yeah, that. But it was also an element that I don't get to experience quite often, where I just listen to males talk about the experiences. I don't have that in my life. I don't know why that is, but I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I have so that I get to experience people like that. Fun fact, Nick said that he wanted to title this book In the Nick of Time. It would have been something. And I understand that he also has work coming out in May, I think he said, this year, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm also hoping that when that book comes out, I get to have him back. I know it's gonna be like we have repeat offenders there by Conversations with the Author, but why not if they keep producing such great work? It's also available at the South African State Theatre kiosk, so please go out and get it. I know I jumped to book number 10 because I went from number 7 to number 10 because I was excited to talk about, to sew them in. So go 8, we had Audacity by Lebo Lion, who is now the number 1 marketing person. That book reads like such a breeze. She wrote it like tweets, you know, so it's a very quick read. And then number 9 was Finding Common Ground by Wandile Sihlobo. Another one, that was a subject that I never really had any idea about. I know it's about land and agriculture, but I never really thought about farming in my life. I've never found myself reading about such content. And I remember saying to my mentor, and I was like, after I'm done with Conversations with the Author, there will be no topic that I won't have an input in, because wow, I never ever thought that I would understand how the trading happens from growing things in South Africa and then trading them abroad for something else. It is all there in Finding Common Ground. It's all there. Go out and get it. Again, it's available at the South African State Theatre. And then of course we had book number 10, For You Are Still a Goat. And then number 11 we had The Discovery of Love. Discovery of Love by Ntikeng Mohlala. And Ntikeng is also a favorite author of mine. I I read Small Things the beginning of this year. Hey man, we're still at the beginning. This is just the second month, and I wanted to read somebody that really turns your brain and sharpens it, and in the way that he does. If you are not familiar with his work, please familiarize yourself with his work, because when you read Ntikeng Mohlele's work, your brain just really forgets about his work cancels the outside world out. The noise out. It mutes the noise. So you kind of just have to. So, like this. He also has, I think, 2 books out already after this. Was it Breasts and River? There's another one coming out. There's another one. It's not coming out. It's already out. Anyway, Ntikeng Mohlele was number 11. I cannot fail to mention Gore. The South African State Theatre keeps bringing excellent authors, and I need more authors to please come forward, because I get these books for free. Well, it's not for free actually, because I work for them. Because I when I get a book and I read it, I invest in it. I go through not half of what the author goes through with it, but I go through as much not as much, but I go through enough research so that I can be able to have conversations with the authors, so that they can feel that I have respect for what they do, and I have respect for what I have read. I don't just sit there and say, so just tell me about chapter this, so tell me about that. I get into the work and we have real discussions, guys. But this heat, people who love this kind of weather, is everything okay at home? Because I can't. I cannot. I'm not coping. It's heavy. I'd rather have it be winter. I know there are people who appreciate this kind of weather, but I'm not dealing. I'm not coping. I can't wait for winter. So after that, we had, what number are we on? Discovery of Love was 11. 12, we had Katie's Arrow by Kinsey. Katie's was the only author who came up there and said to all my audience members, you get a book, you get a book, you get a book, everybody gets a book. Why don't I have it here? But Katie's Arrow, she gave everybody a book. The first one too, we had a bit of an Oprah moment. Oh, let me not say Oprah, because not very happy with her at the moment, but Asikolap. So anyway, that is it for today's second episode of The Road to the 30th Conversations with the Author. Please keep sharing with me what you think the 30th book is going to be. See you next time on the 3rd episode of Time with Tea. Thank you so much for choosing to spend time with me. Love and light, and put your fan on. Yo.